Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenore and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Leo. If Leo is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, Leo, let's get started. And so tonight we have the adjustment card or the justice card. Okay, and let's go ahead and take a look and see what these tea leaves have to say. And so if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell icon. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. I know. Most of you are like, of course it's free. Well, not everybody knows how the YouTubes work like we do. And that's okay. That's okay. We're all learning. Also, if you'd like to leave a comment, I'd love to hear from you. Definitely, if you are new to the channel, hit that. Oh, yes. Hit the send a comment over. Let me know that you have been here for the first time. And also, if you want to leave a like, I wouldn't be mad at you. I would actually appreciate it so much. Okay, I want to start right here. We have what looks like almost like a bust. And a bust is a statue, right, of somebody's face and usually kind of their shoulders and maybe a little bit of like their upper torso, okay? So we have a bust. It looks almost kind of like George Washington hair, right? You can see like those powdered wigs kind of look. Over here, I feel like it is a person on a horse, and then we have an alligator. It reminds me of a weird dream, right? Just these random things. Now, I do feel like it's like a monumental energy in your life, and it feels like, well, yeah, like authority, right? Like the justice system, which makes sense, right? We have the justice or adjustment card. Now we have the person on the horse always represents to me a movement in life, some kind of change, right? Or a focus on kind of adjusting our attitudes, clearing out blockages, doing work, deep work, right? Root work, processing trauma, integration, shadow work, individuation, all these kind of things. Not easy stuff, right? Now, we have the alligator. So the alligator immediately reminds me of the weighing of the heart. Okay, and this is that story. I think it's in the Book of the Dead along with other reliefs. But what it is this kind of journey into the underworld, right? You have transitioned, or, well, not you, but hopefully not, right? The person in the story has transitioned, and they're met with Anubis, right? The psychopomp, god of embalming, among other things, and taken down into, I don't know, some other place, subterranean something, right? And they're met with the scale. The scale has a feather on one side, and the heart of the recently departed on the other. And so, yeah, they're weighing the heart. Basically seeing what kind of life did you live, right? And then if the heart is heavier than the feather, the whole person gets tossed into a crocodile. And so that's what I always forget what the name of that crocodile is. But I feel like there is kind of now we'll take parts of this, not the whole thing, not the whole story, right? Just fragments. I feel like as there is this movement towards change in your life, deciding, yeah, things are not exactly as I want them to be. There's some part of my existence that maybe I've outgrown. Maybe it is something that I've always found kind of difficult or uncomfortable, or yeah, it's like conditioning, things that you've been taught, kind of going with the flow of kind of what everybody else does, right? But it doesn't work for you, and you know it doesn't. And so you've decided to kind of change things up, try living a different way maybe. And that is received with, not the most excited energy from those around you. They might not understand. They might not have any concept of where this is coming from. Why do you need to do this? What does this mean? Is this, going to affect your future? Is this, this idea of like a midlife crisis, and now they even have the quarter life crisis, right? Which is bizarre. We're all going through. We have a lot of crises to attend to, right? So I do. I feel like it's kind of the sense of maybe just not getting the support or understanding from those in your family, possibly. It could be your, significant other, your spouse, your best friend, your job, your whatever it is. Will this deter you? I don't think so, because I'm looking over here. We have a wolf right up here. You can see right there. Look at it's actually like a really defined formation, which, maybe it's because I read tea leaves every day. And honestly, everywhere I go, everything I look at, if it's like tiles and there's some kind of texture, rocks, clouds in the sky, shadows on the wall. I see images and everything. But, some of them are undeniable. You see it and you're like, dang, how did that end up there? So I look at this and it tells me, yeah, no, you will not be deterred from what you need to do for yourself. Even if that means kind of being that lone wolf. Now we have above it, it looks like a crescent. Okay, so we have that lunar energy as well. And it is a sense of having to kind of strike out on your own for a while. Now, the wolf might be alone for periods of time, right? But you will always return to your tribe, right? You always go back or in some way, right? If we don't go back, we create our own. And so I see you kind of having this energy of, I'm going to do what I got to do. I'm not going to live my life to appease others. I'm not going to do all the things that you want me to do. And I'm not going to, you know, try to make you understand. So, you know, this can be difficult energy. It can be a lot of conflict. It can be grief and sorrow, you know, especially if it's something that, you know, your people can't accept. They don't get it. What are you doing? This is not you. What are you going through? You know, but, you know, if you're like myself and a lot of us who are, I would say, spiritually inclined people, and you're here, so I imagine you might be, oftentimes we are kind of the black sheep of the family, aren't we? Most of the people in my life who are very lovely and I love very much, not involved in any of this, not involved in any of this kind of stuff, aside from, you know, my husband, right? And of course, if you're in a relationship that is very involved, hopefully, hopefully you have somebody who speaks your language, right? But yeah, so often we're left in a room full of people talking about feeling things, focused on things that are so outside of maybe our own experience that, yeah, it could be kind of hard to relate. And it's hard for them to relate to us. But that's okay. I think that you're used to that. That's why there's no fear here. There's no fear. Now, I also see we have a person here who is in this devotional pose, okay? Arm lifted, head raised. Now, we also see that it looks like they're in a cave. It could be a house as well, right? So I do feel like there's a sense of kind of return to your sacred place, to that interior temple. And I think a lot of this has to do with you deciding, I am going to put my energy into that which is important to me. And I feel that that is probably something along the lines of, right, your religious beliefs, your spiritual practices, your creativity, you know, the processes that you go through to kind of court the muse, to find inspiration, to live a life that, you know, maybe is somewhat eccentric or at least unconventional, right? And that is the fuel for you. That is, this is what you need to do. There's no question, right? You know, we all go through these periods in life where, you know, we might get into a position where we want to do something and we end up kind of playing the part, like mimicking what we think it might be like. Now, for me, this was going into motherhood, right? I had never planned to be a parent. I did not grow up around children. I mean, obviously there are children in the world around me, but I didn't have young children in my family. I never, as an adult, my friends, some of them had kids, but you know, I just wasn't around. I wasn't part of that part of their life, right? I wasn't around kids. So, and also my parents passed away when I was young. So I've had a lot of moms and a couple of dad figures, right? Chosen family, acquired family over the years, but never really was around somebody raising a kid. So basically, I went into motherhood very frightened, you know, as most of us are. And I had no idea what the heck I was doing. I was researching and reading and watching YouTube videos on everything. I had no idea what was going on. And yeah, I think for a while, I was going through these motions of what I thought, what would a mom do? What would this look like if I was a, if I was a genuine mother, right? Until I found my own place, my own style, my own, something that was sustainable, that made sense for me, a flow, right? And so I think that there are always these moments in our life where we get into something new, maybe a new job or a new relationship or whatever it is. And we might not fully know how to be ourselves yet. We have to find our footing. We have to find our confidence. And I feel like whatever's been going on in your life recently, not fairly recently, right? I feel that you have kind of just, to some degree anyways, been putting on kind of this role that you have been playing, right? And I think that ultimately, now you're getting pretty comfortable and you're seeing where, how and where and what, which way, where to go, where not to go. Yeah, how things work, right? Within whatever this is. Like I said, it could be like a relationship. It could be a new job. It could be a new place that you're living. Maybe you have just become a parent or a grandparent or, whatever it is. And now, if people understand how you're going to do this or not, you're coming back into this confident place of, I'm going to follow my intuition. I'm going to live in this authentic way. And I'm not saying that you're an unlikable person or you're difficult or anything like that, but, maybe people don't always know how to take you. Maybe they just, and I think this is really truly what it comes down to is they don't understand maybe your life choices. Maybe there's some degree of thinking that, okay, this is unrealistic. If you just tone it down, you find something, that is more likely to succeed, but has, a kind of a lower payoff, right? There's not a lot of room for error, but the pay is not as good, right? But you can't abide that. Not for long, right? You are a person that you see things laid out in front of you. You have a concept of how this might work. Where there are naysayers, right? You are out there kind of being real brave, making some, really courageous choices. But this is how you get to greatness. And I think that is one of the big motivators for Leos, is that you want to live a life that not only means something, but there is some kind of legacy here. There's some kind of, heir to your existence that, yeah, it might be so great and so profound that, where do we go? Statues are built in your image, and I do. And I think if you never try, you're never going to get there. And I think that's kind of the thinking that you often have, is that if I just kind of succumb to my fear of failing or letting somebody down or whatever, I'm never going to kind of make it to the next level. So I'm going to take some risks. I'm going to do what I need to do. And, that makes sense to me. It absolutely does. We also have a large fish right here. Money. It also looks like, look at its face, the eyes, the nose, the little mouth. So this has to do with money. We also have the crab. We have a little island with a palm tree right here. Okay. We have that wolf again down here doing his ow. So I'm looking at this and I feel like there is really this sense of make sure that you're slowing down, first of all. Making good choices, thinking about all of the consequences or things that might arise. But I feel like there is a monetary aspect to this. And I do feel it ends up coming through for you. Now, I don't know if you're going to go live on an island by yourself or, whatever with your chosen people. But I do feel like there's a sense of kind of vindication, right? I put in this work. I started doing this thing. Everybody thought it was a crazy idea. They did not support it. They thought, what the heck are you doing? And then it ended up hitting. It ended up being like a good business. Ended up making it a lot of money or a good amount of money, right? And ultimately, I feel there is a sense of still kind of, feeling some type of way, about not getting the support and belief that you wanted. And I feel like it's hard for you to kind of go back to being so close to people who didn't believe in you, ultimately. I mean, I think that's really what it was. And it is. There's an eye. So to me, it's kind of like you've had this awakening. You've seen that like there are conditions to how supportive people might be or how willing they are to go on this journey with you until things start going good. And then it's like they show back up and you're like, I don't know about that. You didn't have the same tune a year ago when, I was trying to get this thing moving. So, I don't know what that leads to. I can't see, but I do feel like you're in this place, or you will be in this place of, I feel like there is this kind of wall. You want to look forward, you want to move forward, you want to kind of rebuild your life in a lot of ways, move on, enjoy your success, and you might end up kind of, not being as close to some of the people in your life. And ultimately, that can be a little heartbreaking, but I think at the same time, you're so focused on your goals, and I feel like there's a sense of, maybe feeling sentimental and having a missing the closeness or the interactions or whatever it is. But there's a relief because there's not as much stress. There's not the arguing and bickering, and, you know, I think the kind of just feeling maybe less than in some ways, or pushed out or alienated, or, you know, just kind of you're trying to present how you're living in a way that they can understand, and it's this big ordeal. And, you know, there's not a lot of that happening right now, because you're focused on your work, you're making some money, you're feeling pretty good, you're getting into a place of feeling a lot of, I think, ease and serenity, and at the same time motivated, and you know, very active and sharp and clever and beautiful, you know, all the good things. So, you know, it's it can be difficult. It can be difficult. But, you know, being somebody myself that nobody in my families they never understood what the heck I'm doing, or why I'm doing it, or if I'm doing well or not. They, you know, don't worry too much about it. Don't internalize, you know, how other people feel so much. Just keep it civil. Sometimes that's all you can do. Okay, let's see. So we have the number 201. 201. We have, it looks like, somebody who is looking almost kind of in a meditative state, looking over, seeing a snake emerging from maybe a hole. Now, we also have up here, it looks like another person meditating on a fish. Okay, so I do. To me, this is like simply, really, really using those interior resources, visualization, you know, kind of, using your dream world as inspiration, contemplation, that's the big thing. Now, seeing a knowledge and understanding, ideas, innovation, inspiration emerging, okay? And I think this is all pretty much driven by the want and need to make money, right? To fund your life in the physical realm. And I think that's really where, you know, it's not always your main focus, but I think often it is your main focus. And so, yes, you are absolutely in that place. And I see you really kind of coming to some, clear pathways to get to that place where you are making more money. Maybe you're starting a business. Maybe you have a business and you're thinking of like new ways to diversify. Maybe this is about the work you're already doing, your career path. You are maybe, you know, expanding your skill set, learning how to do some new things, skills that kind of cross over into what you're already doing, making yourself kind of more marketable, and so on. Okay, so I definitely feel like this is a place of great growth. Okay. Now we also have the number 20. So we had, what was the other one? 201, right? Yeah. And then we have the number 20. My goodness. All right. Hopefully wherever you're at, you're not so inundated with smoke. We have so much smoke here from the Canadian wildfires. And I've been praying for everyone up there. Well, in California as well, and wherever else there are fires, I'm sure we're in that prime fire season. And it's such a terrible time, you know, for all of that. It really, I'm from Northern California, so I'm no stranger to wildfires, but my goodness, it's amazing how fast it happens. And so definitely keeping everyone who is affected in my thoughts. I woke up thinking about it. I think I was dreaming about it. Yesterday we were outside playing, and you know, my daughter was riding her bike and stuff, and it was just very thick. Well, anyways, for where I'm at, it's not like California. I lived in East Sacramento, which is like in the valley. And it's right up against the foothills. So the smoke would just sit right on top of you, including the smog. Because I was born and raised out there back in the day when it was still very smoggy. I don't know. Maybe it is still now. I don't know. But it used to be really like crazy smog. So it would be smoke and smog. And it's not as bad as that here. Not at all, but it still feels, I woke up, I was like, my goodness, I feel like an ashtray kind of. Okay, so let's go ahead. We're going to flip through and stop where it feels right. It says, hero's journey. I am the hero of my story. My life is an ongoing adventure of growth and courage. I am victorious. I am victorious. All right, Leo, I'm going to go ahead and tell you I love you because I do, and I thank you so much for spending this time with me. It is always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you, and if you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help the channel, and if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. It is free to subscribe. And if you'd like to leave a comment, please do. I read them all. And especially if you're new to the channel, definitely shout it out in the comments section. All right. With that, I will tell you I love you. Take care of yourself. We'll talk in a few days. Good night.